So y'all like anime endings? Alright then, stick around and allow me to explain why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has the best EDs in anime. And I'm not just talking about Edward. Disclaimer, FMAB is my favorite anime. This is not unbiased, okay? We're gonna be full biased here, but I'm gonna try to make you as biased as I am. That's my goal, alright? Good openings and endings, like anything else, will depend on your taste. Now, I personally place a lot more value on the song than the visuals. There are a lot of openings that I love that I couldn't even tell you the first thing about visually, but the song just represents the show so strongly in my head. What elevates the ones in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood to all-time status is, well, first of all, the show was an all-time great. If it was a bad show, I wouldn't be making this video. But one of the reasons why it's so great is how it uses the endings. The fade-ins to the endings are all-time great. Let me explain what I mean for a second, right? As anime fans, we're conditioned to expect a start-stop structure. The show stops, and then the opening or ending comes in, and that's it. Sometimes you might have a lead-in scene before the opening or a post-credit scene after the ending, but it's always a stop-start nature, which is why breaking this structure can be very powerful. We're all conditioned to expect something, and when there are expectations, there is opportunity by breaking those expectations. If you can blend these two normally separate things together, you have the opportunity to create something really unforgettable. It's always hype when the opening or ending actually plays in the episode. You're probably going to remember it even if you don't think the show is that good. This is one of the ways anime can actually enhance its source material, because this specific tool isn't something that manga or light novel or anything else authors have available to them. So I'm going to use two examples from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that I genuinely think enhance the source material by using the ending fade in. Now, I don't want to get my channel freaking terminated, so I can't actually play the entire endings when I talk about them, but I'll name them and you can easily go and watch them. I'll probably put a link unless I forget. Alright, so here we go. Ending 2 is called Let It Out by Miho Fukuhara. We start hearing it in episode 15, but the moment I'm going to talk about is the fade in to this ending in episode 22. Let's paint the picture. Winry comes and confronts Scar, the man who killed her parents, the one who's single-handedly responsible for the most traumatic event of her entire life. It looks like she might actually kill him for revenge, but Ed stops her and tells her that her hands were not made to kill, but they were made to give life to others. She breaks down crying, and it's a beautiful cathartic moment, and that's when we hear the ending song start to bleed in. We start to hear the soft, soothing guitar melody paired with the repetition of let it all out, just as we've heard so many times, but this time it's paired with the memory and the image of Winry sitting there breaking down as she lets out her emotions. She finally confronted the man who took her parents from her, and she let him go. And to see that paired with these beautiful lyrics, of course to let it all out, but you don't have to think your heart is made of steel. You will heal. Like, everything about it enhances everything else. The music, the lyrics, the scene itself, it all works together to create something that is incredibly memorable and way more than the sum of its parts. Alright, the second example we're going to use is ending 5, which is called Ray of Light by Shoko Nakagawa. This plays for the first time in episode 51. And episode 51, boy, let me tell you something about episode 51, dog. This is legitimately one of my favorite moments in all of anime in any series. It's perfection. Of course, we're talking about the scene where Al decides to use the Philosopher's Stone. This is such a huge turning point in the narrative and in Al's character as he decides to use the stone that up until this point has only represented suffering and death. But he's using it to give meaning to the lives who were sacrificed for its creation. This moment opens up a new perspective on what the stone means, and by extension, the idea of an inanimate object having meaning itself. It's quite philosophical if you think about it. It's such a triumphant and uplifting moment, and when you finally see Al coming through that smoke to face Kimblee in pride with his legs fully healed, looking like a motherfucking badass, along with the slow but steady beat of the drums and the beautiful strings that come in afterwards with this gorgeous uplifting melody. I'm no music theorist, but I know that shit is good, okay? And the name of the song is perfect too. In this moment, Al is a ray of light for all of the people within the stone who had their lives taken from them, because he's going out and giving their senseless sacrifice meaning by taking ultimate power and not letting it corrupt him. But it goes even further beyond that, because if you think about Al's character in the narrative, he is a ray of light to everyone around him, especially Ed, but also to everyone else, because he's the most human character in the series, even though he doesn't have a human body. And it's not just the name of the song. If you read the lyrics to the song, they add even more depth to the scene. The song is all about someone who feels weak and powerless and is trying to reach out to someone they love. Please read the entire lyrics. I can't read them all out here, but like there's a lot of gems here. I'm just gonna read a few out, okay? Ever since that day passed, I promised myself that I'd never cry. Sound familiar? There was something I couldn't forgive myself for. Sound familiar? I long to become stronger than I am now so that my voice will eventually reach you. Sound familiar? And then, of course, beyond the daybreak, a ray of light breaks free and a rainbow spans across the sky. The instrumentation, the lyrics, the character, the narrative, the themes, everything about it comes to a beautiful climax in the scene. It's perfect. This is peak fiction. You Google peak fiction, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood episode 51 should come up. Now you tell me another series that so beautifully blends the writing, the narrative, the character arcs with the ending song. I can't think of one that does it this perfectly because I can't really think of many things that are this perfect to begin with. I hope I've converted at least one person to the cult of FMAB because there's plenty of space, dog. Come on in. I promise we won't human sacrifice you. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop some love for your boy. If you didn't, that's cool. It's not for everyone. That's it though. Peace.